So, okay, ladies, here I am, a brand new video for my Shima girls. I've been doing good. I've been progressing beautifully. It's a day by day thing, and I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I think I'm up to 96, 97% cured from my fibroid issues and my cyst issues. So, I'm very thankful. I'm still doing my fasting. I'm still eating my fruits and veggies, and I'm just staying consistent with what I'm doing, and I'm progressing beautifully. And so with that said, here's your brand new video, ladies. Let's talk about these tariffs, because I'm starting to get concerned about these tariffs. I mean, we're in the midst of it. Okay. I wanted to discuss these tariffs because what's on the horizon for us is starting to look very, very dire, unfortunately, and I wish it wasn't that way. Starting to become very, very alarming. So alarming, in fact, that even beauty supply stores are starting to cancel their shipping containers. Can you believe that? They're starting to cancel their shipping container. It gets to customs. They cannot afford to pay the tariffs, and it stays, it stays right there. And it doesn't get, the truckers don't come and get it. There's no shipping. It's not in transit. It stays right there because unfortunately, some of these beauty supply stores are just small businesses, trying to make ends meet. But I'll discuss more about the situation with the beauty supply stores a little later in this video. First things first, what are tariffs? Well, in layman's terms, tariffs are simply an import tax, that's placed on imported goods, coming into the U.S. And as you know, we as the United States of America, we're importing goods from China, a lot of goods, goods like clothing, which is in the textiles and apparel category, electrical machinery, equipment and parts, those luxury handbags like Chanel, Dior, Hermes, Birkin. Also many of our car and car parts, like when your car breaks down, you need parts for them, like the Volvos, the Chevys. Also there's furniture, there's lighting, and all kinds of household goods. So we as the United States import from China a whole lot. And this brings me to importing synthetic hair, importing human hair, importing the lace runs, the hair extensions, even the hair combs and the claw clips and the head scarves, all of that. So let's keep that in mind. From China, we get the hair bundles, we're getting the wigs from human wigs to synthetic wigs, the sewing weaves to the gluing weaves. I mean, you name it, ladies, you name it. And now what does this mean? This means, Shima girls, that this import tax, these tariffs are definitely going to cause, your local small businesses, your hairstylists, as well as your local beauty supply stores, a really pretty penny. And I do mean a really pretty penny to cover these tariff taxes. So what these businesses are going to do is that they're either going to absorb the cost or they're going to pass it on down to us. And unfortunately, I highly doubt that the majority of them are going to absorb the cost. They're going to definitely pass it on to the customer. Okay, so that's why things are looking pretty dire, because we as the customers are going to end up paying a lot more for, again, our bundles, our sewing weaves, our gluing wigs, all the hair accessories, all of these goods, a whopping 95% of them is manufactured in China. And with that said, let me go deeper into the situation with the beauty supply stores canceling their shipments, right in the middle of it, being shipped to us. They're canceling these shipments, these freights, they're being canceled, because they simply cannot afford to pay these tariffs. So these Korean beauty supply store owners, and also even the Black-owned beauty supply stores, they've been canceling these shipments left and right. Okay, a whole lot of them. I'm not going to say all of them. There's always, exceptions to the rule, but a lot of beauty supply stores are canceling these shipments. So according to several articles that I've read, about this dire situation, ladies, businesses in general, not just the beauty supply stores, but all kinds of businesses have been canceling orders, for products from China. After President Trump imposed a 145% tariff tax, they've been canceling their orders. And so what does this mean? The cancellation of orders. Well, ladies, this also means that it's going to be a shortage of goods. Shortages for us as the American consumers. Again, we're going to have shortages, on our beauty supply stores. Shortages on our food supply. Shortages on our clothing, on our shoes. shortages on electronic goods. It goes deep. Unfortunately, it goes deep. And I've been paying attention. I've been looking. I've been listening. And although I haven't seen a lot of shortages yet, and when I go into the grocery stores, but they're coming. Definitely, they're coming, because I heard that sometime in the middle of June to July, it's gonna come in waves, but it's gonna be some shortages. Okay. So I'm paying attention. I hope you're paying attention too, ladies. And if you weren't paying attention and you just watching this video, definitely get on your P's and Q's about what you need to do. Okay, I'm gonna tell you basically what you need to do in this video, but also do your own research and pay attention to what's going on. Okay, because this is not gonna be like 2020. It's gonna be slightly different, slightly more serious in my opinion. So let's pay attention to what's going on, ladies. Okay, so moreover, reports are also showing that the volume of Chinese shipments that are scheduled to arrive at the ports of Los Angeles, for example, ladies, and Long Beach, California, between the following dates of May 4th and May 10th, has plummeted a whopping 43% in comparison to last year's 43%. Okay, so that's one heck of a plummet. That's almost 50% plummet, 7 digits away from getting to 50% plummet. Half of the goods, that are supposed to be coming in has plummeted, so again, that's almost half. And if things, continue to go the way things are going, we are all in for a rude awakening. So let's awake, ladies. I'm wide awake. Let's awake. Okay, I'm taking it seriously. Definitely am, and I'm getting ready. So a little bit more about the beauty supply stores. So they are canceling orders, for your hair bundles. They are canceling orders for the lace fronts. They are canceling orders for the sew-ins, as well as canceling orders for general hair care products, as I said. Like the hair combs, the bobby pins, claw clips, head scarves, all of it. Okay, and all of these cancel orders are sitting inside shipping containers, totally canceled, just sitting there. Okay, and as I stated, although some businesses could absorb the cost, a lot of them are not. They're going to pass down that cost, that increase, those fees, those charges to us, the consumers. I mean, let's be serious, because businesses with low margins are not about to absorb the cost of these tariffs, okay, all by themselves. And why? Because they just can't. Imagine their container costs, just a simple example, $2,000, the tariff is yet another $2,000, that's $4,000 they got to pay. So that is a lot of money, and that's like a really high example. But, and again, some of these businesses are small businesses. They just can't do it. They just can't. And it's getting rough, ladies. It's getting rough. So let's look at another example. For example, the brand Shake and Go, the one that sells synthetic hair, the brand Shake and Go with the synthetic hair, is now going to be more than double the price because of these tariffs. Okay, so here's another unfortunate reality check. A lot of hairstylists, let's keep in mind, the hairstylists that do our hair, that install these lace fronts, install the hair extensions into our hair, those of us who choose to get installation services, they're not going to absorb these tariffs all by themselves either. Okay, they want to see a profit, okay, from their work. So again, it's going to be passed down to us as the consumers, ladies. And as well, some of these hairstylists also sell the hair maintenance products to us, from the shampoos to the conditioners and whatnot, and that will also go up. Unfortunately, their hair maintenance products, that you got to use to, maintain your style, it's also going to be double in price, unfortunately. Okay, because again, a lot of those hair products are also made in China. They're slapping tariffs on that too. So this is why it's a good thing to read the labels of these hair products, ladies, or go to their websites and see where they're made. See if they are made in the USA. For example, if you go to my website, shimahaircare.com, you'll see that my products are totally made here in the USA. Tariff-free, 100% tariff-free, and provide them to you at a reasonable cost, so 100% tariff-free with my Shima hair products. Okay, as you know, my Shima hair products consist of my moisturizing Shima hair shampoo, my moisturizing Shima hair conditioner, my Shima hair argan oils, my Shima hair edge cream, my Shima hair braid and lock gels, okay, my Shima homemade hair butters. Okay, that's created right here in the United States. And I'm so happy that at least we have something. If you want to be a Shima girl, that you could get something right here made in the USA by yours truly, Shima, okay? And you don't have to worry about getting slapped with double the price for this, double the price for that. 100% tariff free with my Shima hair products. So if you're using my Shima hair products, great. I know your hair is growing and thriving. And if you want to use my Shima hair products, you can go to my official website, shimahaircare.com, and check it out for yourself. Check out the testimonials. We're doing good here with our Shima hair growth, system, ladies. And as you can see, this is my real hair. It's 100% natural. And I use my own products on my hair. My own Shima hair products is used on my hair as well. So, yes, okay. My word of advice to you ladies is stock up, stock up, stock up. This is a great time to take care of our natural hair, by the way. We don't have to, rely so much on these hair weaves and these, this fake hair. This is a wonderful time to focus on, growing out our real hair. So let's keep our real hair moisturized. Let's trim the back parts of, our real hair and keep it healthy all the time, especially with the protective styling, from the hair buns to the braiding to the 2-strand twist, bantu knots, beautiful, gorgeous protective styles that we can use as women of color to grow our real hair and maintain our real hair. Okay, so get your Shima hair products, okay? And let's get to growing some hairs, our real, natural, God-given Afro-Textured hair. So yes, ladies, I hope you enjoyed this video, learned a lot. Let's wake up. Let's wake up to the situation going on with these tariffs. And I'll see you on the next video real soon, ladies. I'm feeling so much better. Thank you, ladies, for all the love, that you always show me, and for wishing me, good health. And I see you. Shima sees you. Okay? God bless. I'll be back soon, ladies.